Hi. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome back to our really big show. We got a really big show here today. Who do we got today, Ed?
We got George Sullivan. Ed Sullivan.
George Scorsis. George Scorsis from Liberty Health Sciences is here to talk to us about what's going on down in Florida. They're rocking it. They're knocking it right out of the park. They are. We have Brent Charleton here. He's the CEO of EnWave Corporation. These guys are professionals at drying out marijuana without ruining it, which is a lot harder than you might think. Not only that, at 4 o'clock, live, walking right in the door and strutting on down into that seat there, Ed, is going to be Brad Rogers, Chief Operating Officer and President of CannTrust. He's going to be here to talk about Breakthru Beverages. And I didn't realize this. One of our illustrious, well-informed writers, our audience members told me about this. Do you know why it's such a big deal that Breakthru Beverages is doing this deal with CannTrust? Do you know why?
Because it's a breakthrough?
No, because they're the Canadian agent for Diageo.
No.
Yes. So this is actually CannTrust coming one step closer to Diageo, which if Diageo can be coerced, did I use that word, coerced? Convinced of the wisdom of executing a check in favor of CannTrust to seal the deal, to buy a big fat 10% and send the idea of the emulation of the Constellation Canopy deal into the share price of CannTrust. Where do you think that share price is going to go, Ed? I'll give you a hint.
To the moon?
To the moon!
Alice.
Alice? All right, so let's just say we have a really big show. And then to top it all off, right at the end, we have Bruce Linton here. And Bruce is going to talk to us about Canopy Rivers. Not Canopy Growth, Canopy Rivers. Canopy Rivers is the investment banking arm, which you are supposed to think about, and I am supposed to think about, like Google Ventures. You gotta say more about that. Anyways, Bruce will be here to talk about all that. Edward, tell me, cuéntame, what's happening in the cannabis space today?
Well, there's some issues that are really up.
Yeah,
like our friends Tilray.
Tilray, Ed.
Tilray. Tilray's flying.
Tilray's flying?
Flying.
Where is it today? You mean you want me to pull up the super duper mechanical chart?
95.80 up 11.30.
TLRY. Oh, why is it showing me this? I want the chart. I want the advanced chart. 95.90. What? That's the price?
Yes, sir.
Jesus, Ed, what are you doing to that stock? Are you buying it all day long?
All day long.
What's the matter with you?
All night long.
Leave some for some others, will you?
Yeah, that's right back to the highs, or well, maybe it already. You can see the two candles there within 5 days. Yeah, it looks like it wants to resume the trend.
Yeah, it's trading on the band, or just below the band.
But it
RSI's at 79, Ed. How long
can this go on?
Has this been going on? Not very good singing voice today. Anyways, apologies for the singing. I'll stop. I promise I'll stick to my J job, which is talking about cannabis stocks, apparently. So yeah, Brad Rogers is going to be here to talk about that deal. Brent Charleton, Bruce Linton, George Scorsis. It's like one hell of a show. You know what we're going to do? Actually, change of heart. Change of plan, change of heart. First, we're going to talk to Brent Charleton from EnWave Corporation about how to dry marijuana without ruining it, and here's what he had to say. Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest in this segment is Brent Charleton, CEO of EnWave Corporation, trading on the TSXV under the symbol ENW. Brent, welcome.
Thanks very much.
Brent, give us an overview. What is it that EnWave does?
EnWave has developed a proprietary low-temperature dehydration technology that can remove moisture very quickly and gently from organic materials. And marijuana or cannabis is one material that we excel in drying very quickly.
Interesting. So you're in the business of drying cannabis for LPs?
We are in the business of licensing out our intellectual property, which protects the machines that we sell to various food manufacturers, pharmaceutical manufacturers, and more recently, cannabis licensed producers in Canada.
Interesting. And so the radiant energy vacuum, I guess, is at the core of this,
That's
this technology?
right. Yeah, we combine vacuum with microwave and create a low temperature drying environment that is homogeneous. So in cannabis, we can get down to the 8 to 15% threshold for a combustible product, or if you want to dry down to 1 to 2% for the purpose of extraction, we can also do that very efficiently.
Okay, and so companies that want to use your technology just pay you a licensing fee and you send them a specification?
Yeah, typically how our partnership operation works is that we will do test work with the licensed partner to prove the quantifiable measures which will justify the licensing fees for using our drying technology. Some of the other benefits is reduced footprint of drying. The time typically is less than 1 hour to go from cut product to, again, a shelf-stable, either combustible product or product used for extraction.
Sure. So how many LPs are using your technology right now?
Currently, we have a commercial license signed with Tilray.
Okay.
They purchased 2 continuous large-scale lines, one for installation at their Enniskillen facility in Ontario, and the other for their Portuguese operations, as well as a small, pilot unit for their Nanaimo facility. We're also testing actively with 3 other major players in the space, and have other, I would say, more preliminary discussions with about 9 others.
Okay, sounds great. Then how long have you guys been doing this technology?
A long time, a long time. So
okay.
it originated out of the University of British Columbia, but it wasn't truly commercial until about 2012. And then it still took some time to implement the business model, the licensing royalty business model, with mainly food manufacturers.
Yep.
And more recently, we found or surfaced value for our partners in the cannabis space, which is starting to proliferate.
Yeah, fantastic. Where does the technology originate?
So it was developed at the University of British Columbia by our ex-CEO, Dr. Tim Durrance, and a group of very talented food scientists and engineers. And then with the help of capital raised through the public markets, they were able to scale up that technology to the point where we started to satisfy these global CPG companies' needs, and also in the pharmaceutical space for vaccination, dehydration, and probiotics, et cetera.
I see. And so what is the, so this thing what rate of processing can it handle?
So a single continuous line can produce about 45 metric tons of dried cannabis per year, running an 8-hour shift, assuming 50 weeks of operation. So it can dry a lot of cannabis very quickly.
And does it do it obviously faster than if you just left it out drying?
Exactly, and that's the whole point, is that we can dry, again, in under 1 hour, and also it's a continuous process. So theoretically, you could run that machine 7 days a week if the need was there.
Right.
With no downtime.
Okay, so your plan is to market this to LPs around the world as they proliferate in this new cannabis regime?
Yeah, exactly. So we want to ensure that they're fully aware of the immense value proposition of using our technology over the traditional means. The quantifiable data is available in regards to 100% retention of CBD and THC, as well as terpene retention that has been reviewed favorably on smoking panels that have been conducted.
So the effect of drying it out this way does not negatively impact the premium flower aspect for a consumer.
Exactly, and for production purposes also, because we offer a tray system as well as a drum system. The tray system has an open flower aspect to the dried product, so it's better for trimming post-dry. The drum system, typically you want to have the trim done before you're drying the flower, otherwise it will wrap around. So we have some multiple mechanisms to do the drying.
Okay, so how do you get other LPs aware of this and using this technology?
Well, a lot of knocking on doors and making phone calls and connecting with the right people. And I think we are connected with many of the right people in the industry today.
Yeah.
And next steps after making contact is having them out to Vancouver, to our pilot plant facility, show the machinery firsthand. We've got dozens of commercial installations globally in the food space mainly.
Right.
So we have some actually in Southern Ontario here that can be made available for viewing.
Okay, great. Well, then we'll help spread the message. Brent, that's a great introductory interview, and we will come back to you in a quarter's time and see how you're doing. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much, James. So we have some actually.
Well, what do you think, Ed? You want to buy yourself a cannabis dryer?
Great. Well, then
No? I can't say as I blame you. You know how you dry cannabis? You cut it out by the roots, you hang it upside down after you trim it, boom, that's all you need to do. If you're in a hurry.
Is that what those plants are in your backyard?
They're not in the backyard if they're hanging up and drying. No, Ed, they're in the bathroom.
Oh,
because you want them in the bathroom to dry.
in the bathroom.
Yeah, you know, drying cannabis is something that a lot of people overlook. Do you remember, I don't know if you had the same kind of youth as I did, but we would grow plants when we were like teenagers, and we'd be like, oh my God, look at that bud, let's smoke it. And we'd cut the bud off the top and throw it in the microwave and smoke the damn thing.
Right.
It would be harsh as hell. It would be like, it was gross. So drying and curing is something that you really get to gain a appreciation for over time. Do you know anything about that? You watching your pornography again there, Ed?
Yeah.
You look kind of engrossed.
Financial porn.
Can you keep both hands on the desk, please, where I can see them? That's good. Thank you. All right. You're making me a little nervous. I'm going to have to wear Velcro or something.
Yeah.
So now let's take a look at some of the cannabis indexes, Ed, here. Do you want to? Would you
Yes,
like
I'd
to?
love
Would you
to.
like to?
You know, I'm surprised you didn't ask me earlier.
I know. I'm surprised we didn't start with that. What's my problem? I don't know. Too many cannabinoids.
You know, and we got the big one here in Canada, Canopy Growth backing off.
What?
Look at that.
This is the Cannabis Large Cap Index. All companies in Canada trading over $500 million.
Kronos seems to be hitting that wall of resistance again. Look at that.
I'm looking at the chart. Look!
Oh.
Ah!
Monster Man.
Ah! Yeah, I know. Look at
Jesus.
that. Jesus Cristo. Look at that.
That's the index, I
That's
suspect.
the index. This is the Midas Letter Large Cap Cannabis Index.
Okay, and
There's
here we
nothing
are.
like it on the planet. Nothing like it, Eddie. Look at that. Look at that. Climb that mountain if you dare. Bring lots of provisions if you care. Don't fall from on high
Emerald
because you
Health.
will die. Emerald Heel, it says.
Emerald Heel.
Emerald Heel, boy.
Does that
578. You know, Even Co. down to 47.
Yeah.
Fire. Fire.
Wow, there's Golden Ridge flying across at 29.
Now let's talk a bit about Golden Ridge.
Here we go.
I unlike what the control room is thinking, we're not going to promote the shit out of it because there's no reason to. Because
A lot of holes are coming. A lot of holes are coming.
can you tell he's long? How many holes are coming, Ed? Any big ones? Any good ones? Huh?
Well, we have to wait for them to come out. Jeez.
I was trying to rope you into saying something forward-looking.
If you read the press release that came out, they talked about some of the holes that look very mineralized, like much more so. So I think there is maybe some moral suasion going on there. In other
moral
words,
suasion.
Yeah, they're trying to convince us that, hey,
You know what Mark Twain said about, you know what Mark Twain calls a mine? He says a mine is a hole in the ground with a liar standing on the top of it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I find that as a sometime miner, I find that somewhat offensive because I have never needed to be standing over a hole to be lying.
yeah, in other words,
That's putting it out there. You know what? If you got to lie, if you really got to lie to me, are you lying to me right now, Ed? You look guilty. I see you're fishing around for an excuse right away.
you know, you can tell.
See, moral suasion.
This is I didn't make this up, but there's a joke out there
Okay.
that says, "How do you know a lawyer's not telling the truth?"
His lips are moving. That's as old as the hills. Come on. Last time I heard that, I rolled off my dinosaur.
I hope the IROC isn't got a lot of lawyers working for them.
IROC? Who's
Yeah.
that?
IROC.
All right. So there's a picture of Vladimir Putin. I mean Bruce Linton. What the hell is going on here? Here I was merrily looking at my charts, and then they disappeared. Okay, so Ed, what's going on? Once again, everything is up. Look at Midas Letter CSE Canadian Cannabis Index now returning 21 times capital since January 1st, 2015. These are all the companies in Canada that trade on the CSE. Interestingly, many of the companies, a couple of the companies on the large cap came from the CSE. Many of the companies on the small cap index came from the CSE. So the CSE, just in case like a lot of people look at the CSE as the least desirable, least interesting exchange in Canada, and I got to say, from a cannabis perspective, it has been the most prolific in terms of value creation
Right.
in the entire sector.
Yeah.
You sound really interested and thrilled about that, Edward. Anyways, let's see on the small cap index, who are the big guys? Namaste put on another 10% today. They are just not slowing down, but they're not the big trader of the day. TGIF, Friday nights. Thank God it's Friday night. Friday nights? TGIF put on 10 cents today, 52 cents. Was there a press release?
But that one was sort of lagging, I thought.
It was lagging. It just came out. Announces filing of a short form prospectus. That was on the 31st of August. There's no material reason in press releaseville for this stock to be up, but that's neither here nor there. Look at Nutritional High, who we were just ribbing the other day, up 6 cents, another up 21% to 35 cents. Liberty Health Sciences, George Scorsis was here. It's up 14 cents, 11.97%. He was out piling it on with a bunch of traders last night, apparently.
He was, eh?
He was. George is a bon vivant. He's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, likes to imbibe and...
I can't speak for that, no. Now,
well, when you say a bon vivant, you like
bon
someone...
vivant, he's
wine.
good liver.
He's got a good liver?
Well, he is a good liver.
If he keeps doing what he's doing, he won't have a good liver.
Well, it depends, you know. If you're Irish, you can be born with 3 livers, and then you've really got the world by the tail.
Do you sort of, can you pick which one to use first? Or
And you're a good liar and a good liver. Anyways.
Okay, look at Aurora. No stranger to the action today.
Aurora. You know, you're watching the little ticker go by, and we're all standing there looking at the chart, wondering what the hell is Ed talking about? And he's talking about Aurora. You know, Cam Batley was going to be here tomorrow. He has canceled, and we're going to put him on the show on Friday instead because things are cooking in Auroraville, like they always are. But there's a good number, 888, up 62 cents or 7.51%.
Yeah, Afria's down on the day.
Aurora put out 2 press releases today. They converted their holding in CTT Pharmaceuticals into an equity position. Interesting. And what was their other one? Oh boy. Why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me?
CannTrust moving ahead again.
Yes.
Canopy Growth down $1.80. Does that sort of make you
And
know?
here's their second
Why isn't
press release.
CannTrust not acting well today?
I don't know. Niche, the National Institutes for Health Education and Aurora Cannabis are pleased to launch a new guide to cannabis legalization for municipal candidates. This is interesting. This is their second press release today. Do you know what today is, Ed? 9/11.
I know. Let's have a little somber.
One moment of silence for 9/11.
Yeah, let's do that. Shall we have a moment of silence?
Let's have a moment of silence for 9/11. You know what a moment of silence is? It's where you stop talking. Okay.
Okay.
That was good. Cutting right back to the show. Did we just... No, we didn't.
You know, Tilray is almost back to there. Now there's Gormley.
Now I want to talk about FSD Pharma again because it's just so.
Well, did
worth
you
talking
see what
about.
happened today?
Well, I knew you'd have something to say about it, Ed. Yes, it's rocked up to 81 cents.
80. No, it opened at 88.
Opened at 88,
James.
and then they halted it.
When I saw it halted, the low was 41. It was halted at 46 and 46 and a half. Volume was over 100 million, or approximately 100 million. And then I talked to our buddy over at, you know who I'm talking about.
I wish I did. I could tell everybody else. IROC?
You know. Jesus.
Narrow it down for me, Ed. Does he is
okay.
In Toronto?
He's a trader.
A trader? Oh,
Greco.
okay.
Greco.
Oh, Mac Daddy Market making Donnie Greco.
Daddy Greco.
What did Donnie G?
Donnie said the circuit breakers were tripped.
The circuit breakers.
You know, when the thing is a little nutty. And then when they brought it back, they said the low trade was 50. And I'm thinking, what happened to all the trades in the 40-cent range? Looks like they...
Wouldn't you be pissed about that if you had bought it in the morning at 40 and then you hit a sell order at 10 o'clock and they cancel your order and you're sitting there with your
Yeah, well, they would have
Polsky old Gorky in your
canceled.
hand?
Yeah,
That would be horrible.
Polsky old Gorky in your hand.
Polsky old Gorky rides again.
Anyway, to make a long story short, I think that thing traded 200 million shares today. Just 200 million, no big deal.
I don't know. I just can't put. I hear they're spending big time on the promote, like 400 grand a week, is the rumor.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that?
that's pretty heavy. That'll get your stock trading.
I guess there's another new issue coming out
Of
of similar to
left field.
Yeah.
You mean from the same people? As FSD?
Yes, sir.
They got another one coming. Oh boy. Oh boy, this ought to be good. Let's look at the large caps and see what's happening there. We're going to order. Look at we gave up a little ground today.
If any of these proprietary indices that you have developed, have any of them, are they in new high territory today?
Well,
This one isn't.
large cap index has been touching 52-week highs
Yeah, but
pretty much every day for the last 3 weeks, except for
Except for the last 3 days.
well, let's
I mean, because
see
this
here.
high
Let's
here,
go down to 5.
according to this high here, right here, is still higher than that high.
Well, we got to pull a little bit more resolution there. There's 5 days, okay?
Okay.
So over here we got, yeah, so it was at 10,058. And it has not broken 10,058
So-
since.
I don't know if that means anything. What do you think?
Well, it means that it's almost setting new highs every day.
So that was what, 5 days ago?
Yeah, it's kind of like you don't want to be focused on the bobbing cork lest you miss the rising tide status. But let's see. So the big loser on the large cap today is Canopy Growth Corp. Gave up almost 3%. That's not like them. Kronos Group.
is down as well. Afri is down.
And Afri is down.
1%, no big.
So
no
let's see
biggie.
who's up the biggest.
Oxley. Look at Oxley
Oh
flying.
my God!
What's Oxley doing? Up. Wow.
Up 17 cents to $1.33, up almost 15%. Now let's see, is there a press release to shed some light on why this might be happening to us right now in Oxley land? Let's see. Oxley and Lotus Ventures announce investment and signing
Announces
of
definitive and international supply agreement with Afria.
Oxley. This is about Oxley. So yeah, that doesn't really strike me as a reason for the stock to take off, but maybe we don't know anything. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about. But yeah, Oxley.
Well, this market's sizzling.
Yeah,
Still sizzling.
yeah, there are.
Okay, so
I assume you're going to want to look at Tilray at some point, Ed.
again, I
Again.
keep looking at it.
I know.
I'm astounded. So we're right at the highs. Okay.
Let's go to the 5-day look here. Try to make
Look
some
at this.
sense out of this.
Jeez. Okay, so
96.65 now. Man. Man, oh man, what do you say about that? You know, we talked.
So
to,
that's a new high momentarily, and then it backed off, and it's below the high of. So we got. I mean, I'm not going to try and suggest that's a double top because
you've had to eat a lot of humble pie lately.
I've been eating a lot of humble pie. I've been eating so much humble pie.
How does humble pie taste, anyways, Ed? I don't ever actually.
Not a lot of taste to humble pie.
No.
No, you don't feel like you're even eating.
Really?
You know what you feel like you're doing? You're getting somebody's. Not only are they leftovers, but someone's regurgitated the food and handed it over to you and said, "Yeah, here."
Oh, that's
I know
kinda
you're hungry.
gross.
That's what you know.
That's what humble pie tastes like.
Ooh.
Wow.
Doesn't taste like bumble pie.
No humble pie.
Bumblebee pie.
Well, that's a relief.
Humble pie.
Humble pie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at
So,
this.
what else do you like in the sector? Like, look, I'm going to take a look at our golden again here.
What about
I'm a glutton for punishment. Look at that. Oh, smack, 29 cents.
well, it's not dropping, thank God.
What do you mean? See that? That's a big drop there.
I mean, it dropped yesterday when the news came out, but then
Yeah.
it's been moving sideways.
How soon till we get more
I got to believe we're probably on a 2-week cycle.
2 weeks.
Yeah. I think it's got to be a couple-week turnaround time.
Gotta be.
You know, like if you look at the dime difference between the first press release.
Dana Gilman's trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah. What about this? How about that?
Dana, please don't call during the show. You know how Ed's attention span is. It'll be like on the phone in 2 seconds, 2 shakes of a limb.
First Pat Bertrand calls me. And
Sounds like Dana wants to get together for a beer tonight. Is it time to get off the wagon for you, Ed?
No.
No?
No, Ed's
You
on the
said
wagon.
that with quite the level of conviction.
I'm convinced.
You're convinced that you're not going to step off the wagon even briefly?
Even briefly.
Despite the continuing peer pressure of all of your friends.
Dana's calling back. They won't take no for an answer.
He's like, the hell you're on the wagon. You're coming with me.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So what else happened in cannabis world today?
He must think that it's not true that we're doing this show. He thinks it's probably a ruse.
A ruse. One of our audience members, Jennifer Mason Haas, is asking us what is up with SIC. She's making reference to Sokoman Iron Corporation, SIC on the TSX venture that we were rather bullish on for the last couple of weeks, and now we've suddenly gone quiet on it.
We've gone quiet. Well, they're getting ready to.
How about because we're tired of eating humble pie on that one?
Yeah.
We've had. Oh, that's right. I have had humble pie lately. Yeah. Well, they've got next drill program starting October 1st, and they're going to drill all around that discovery hole that yielded 12 meters of 44 grams per ton.
Yeah.
Probably the soonest we're going to get some joy out of them is first weeks of November.
Yeah. Well, they got to drill it, and then it's going to take a while to get some. Remember when we went to the show and we went to the presentation, the stock immediately popped the next day 5-6 cents, and now it's giving it all back.
That was me.
That was you.
I was trying to induce a little action there.
I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to shut this off.
Uh-oh. Somebody's shooting us lots of angry heads. Sounds like they don't like what we're saying.
About?
I don't know. Well, we just finished talking about SIC, so.
Well, I think that there's a good chance they're going to hit some more gold in that high ore zone.
Yeah.
High ore.
Yeah, no, I think SIC is going to be just fine. Just Jennifer Mason Haas says it's not me sending us hatred. Somebody's sending us a lot of hatred, though. Could you please stop?
You enmity?
They're sending enmity, and I'm starting to feel a little bit sad. Stop it. Oh yes, Jennifer is giving us double thumbs up now. See, they show you who's giving you the thumbs up, and now here comes the love. Love! Yay!
I love you.
I love you. Well, boy, we're sensitive today. Did you eat any cannabinoids today, Ed?
No, sir.
Did you smoke any?
I'm on the wagon.
What, you mean cannabinoids is not part of a healthy diet that includes being on the wagon? You know what I had today? I had collagen. I had CBDs.
Collagen?
Collagen.
You eat collagen?
Yeah, because it's for your joints.
You have to go to college to eat collagen?
No, it's because I'm working out a lot lately, and I'm getting
Do
back
they have
into
a course
my
in collagen
warlike
in college?
Conditioning. And so when you're doing a lot of that, you got to do collagen, otherwise your joints get a little sore. Come on,
I'm just looking at the chart of our Juju.
Juju! What you do? What's happening to you?
It's flying.
Juju's flying.
It's flying. Flying.
Flying!
Flying.
Carl Boyd is asking us if we cover the RNX hole.
I heard about that today.
What? I don't know what's he telling us.
Somebody pulled a boulder in somewhere in Australia. And
they pulled a boulder.
A boulder of gold.
Over the shoulder boulder holder?
An over the shoulder boulder holder. Anyway, they pulled it.
Yes.
And it contained 9,000 ounces of gold.
A boulder.
A boulder. A boulder of gold.
That's a boulder holder.
A golden boulder.
A golden boulder holder.
And maybe they were drinking a bottle of golden.
Looks like a tree shake this AM. You're talking about
RNX.
RNX. That's Royal Nickel, no?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I saw that was a high trader early in the day.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. They're looking for nickel. They found an over-the-shoulder golden boulder holder.
9,000 ounces of
9,000
boulder.
ounces.
So that's worth
$15
$15 million bucks.
Just the boulder alone. Are there any more?
Try and pick it up.
Well, this is what I'm wondering. If they pulled a boulder, who did the pulling? And did they do collagen before breakfast? Because otherwise they're going to have sore muscles.
Wow.
Anyways.
Okay. Well, so that apparently that one boulder is worth more than half of their market capitalization. Yeah, this morning, as a matter of fact. Well, where is it? RNX.
I'll let you look it up. I'm dealing with questions from the audience. Noah Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Noah Miller wants to know if we could clear up the deal between ACB and ICC. It says $290 million deal, but the share swap will be based on 20-day average preceding the closing. So does this mean the ratio is not firmly set? On the Leaf and Canamet deal, there was arbitrage opportunity. Here does not look like it. Noah, that is a goddamn great question, and I don't have the answer to that. The reason I don't have the answer for that is because Cam Batley was going to be here tomorrow to talk about just that. Now he's not going to be here till Friday to talk about it. So in that, you know, I only have so much I can keep together in my limited space we call my head. I didn't pay any attention to that. We will get the answer for that, to that for you. I stopped paying attention to what I was saying before I was finished saying it. That's always dangerous. Usually do that while I'm under the influence in a bar. All right, let's see.
So if I punch up RNX.:CA and that says no symbol, and I put :CNX, it says no symbol. What's my next alternative?
Which symbol are you looking for?
RNX.
RNX. RNX: CNX, no?
No, that doesn't work either.
TSX, so it should just be RNX.
RNX. Enter. No.
Not working for you? You need a little tech support, don't you? Huh.
Shift.
You're having a hard time there, Ed.
Well, I'm going to get this all figured out here.
Okay. You let me know when that happens. In the meantime, should we talk to George Scorsis?
Yeah, let's talk to George.
All right, but then we won't have any throw-to when Brad walks in the door.
Is Brad coming on for a live interview?
4 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah. We'll be okay? Okay, here's George. Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest in this segment almost needs no introduction. George Scorsis is the CEO of Liberty Health Sciences Inc., trading on the CSE under the symbol LHS. George, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
George, lots going on in your universe. Give us the latest update. What's happening for LHS?
Yeah, it's busy. We continue to build our house of brands. As I've always said, dispensaries are about having not only the best service, the best data points for our patients to help them continuously get the best products, but also we want to strive to have the best brands. So we just brought PAX into our portfolio. We're the first in Florida. We have an exclusive on it. So I think that really, what that really shows is that we are committed to being the first, but also having the best brands for our patients to use. I think that's a differentiation point for us.
So PAX makes controlled portable cannabis oil vaporizers. Temperature-controlled portable cannabis oil vaporizer. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like a pretty high-tech device. What is it? What does it do that other ones don't do?
Yeah, so a few things. You can track all the data points. It's all trackable on your iPhone, which most of them don't have those capabilities. And for us, it's important for the user to actually have that feedback loop for them to understand not only the strains that they're using, but also how they're using it. It's an interesting vaporizer. It's a lot different from the disposables that are out there, and I think it's more of a premium product.
So it's like, dude, you're too high, smoke less.
Yeah,
okay,
hold it back.
Dude, you let that inhale go too soon. Inefficient. I love it. I'm going to have to get one of those. Okay, so you are going to distribute these throughout Florida?
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be available on October 1st through delivery. It's also going to be available through all of our dispensaries that we have throughout the state.
Okay, and then on September 6th, you had put out an announcement about your incredible growth in the state of Florida, and revenues up 112%, patients are up Like it's just going off down there.
Yeah, I think it's indicative of what we always said we're going to do. You know, we're going to build the best platform. We're going to be the best, the most, what I would say, patient-centric company in the entire state, and I think it's showing. We have 10,000 patients currently within our platform, and it continuously grows. Our revenue is coming in line with what we anticipated. All of our growth is indicative of what we always committed.
I don't hear about a lot of competition in Florida, and is that by design? Like, would you rub them out?
No, you know, there's competition. We're going to see MedMen, we're going to see Ianthus, a few of the other players. GTI is coming into the marketplace. They all understand what we saw when we first came into the market on what the opportunity is in Florida. But I think what they are going to see is how challenging Florida is as a marketplace. It's not simply about you know, you having the ability to open up 30 dispensaries. It's actually getting the dispensaries open. And I think also a lot of people need to focus on cultivation. Cultivation's a lot more complicated than what most would imagine. You're dealing with high humidity. You're also dealing with a few other factors.
Interesting. The state of Florida is only medical, correct?
That's right. Only medical with 14 licenses currently in the marketplace. Potentially in 2020, we may see adult use, but we'll see how that goes. There's still not too many indicators that the state is going to be favorable in that direction.
Is that right, eh? What is the tax regime like in Florida? I'm curious as to. I know in California they're having a real problem where since the onset of the new holistic regulations, patients are seeing increases in costs of up to 40%, which some of them are not able to incorporate easily. Is that the same thing that's happening in Florida?
No, Florida is actually the exact opposite. Florida is quite friendly to patients using. We haven't seen heavy, what I would call sin taxes imposed on the patients. It's extremely friendly marketplace to work with. The regulators continuously work with us on building platforms, allowing us different products in the marketplace, expanding all of our dispensaries, and I would say it's one of the best systems that I've seen in the entire U.S.
Interesting. So what are the metrics of the Florida market in terms of number of patients potentially and sort of the size cost-wise?
Well over 140,000 patients in the system right now, growing over 3,000 patients a week. I think it's one of the fastest growing markets in the U.S., hands down.
The word is out.
Yeah, the word is out, and we see them coming. And you know, I think what you will see is it continuously escalate at that point. It is one of the most aged demographics in the entire U.S. It has one of the most chronic conditions allowed. So it's a really interesting market for us to enter into, especially when we came in as the most medical of all of the platforms in the space. Many of the competitors wanted to be more recreational, and I would say that, you know, that probably wasn't what the consumer base is today. It may be in the future, but not today.
Okay. And back in August, you doubled the capacity of your 360 Innovation Campus. What goes on there?
Yeah, our Innovation Campus is more than just cultivation. It's an area that we can have commercial kitchens. We can start working on water-soluble products to start looking at beverages in the future, transdermal patches.
Gummy bears?
Potentially,
my personal favorite.
Potentially gummy bears. We will shape them like like oranges for you, James.
Thank you.
And but we are looking more at innovative platforms within that space. We do have the ability to do different things, and I would say that the regulators are open to us allowing for different derivatives or disruptables in the space.
Sure, and the stock's been on quite a tear lately, up like 30-40% in the last few weeks. Is that a result of what you're executing here, or are there other things happening behind the scenes or more broadly in the market that's driving that interest right now?
I think the catalyst was one of our announcements last week. I think that investors are waiting to see, could we really deliver on what we promised? And I think last week was the first indication that we could, both on our revenue targets and our patient targets. We've hit both of them. And I think that allows for a lot of comfort, and we've seen a spike in our share price over the last few days, especially in the last week, and I think we're going to continuously see that.
Not a deal with Diageo yet.
No, it would be promising, but not yet.
Okay, darn. You heard it here first. No. Okay, so great. You were working on a number of things in some other states as well. What's the progress of those little initiatives?
We're still looking at Massachusetts, promising state, as well as some additional ones that, you know, we look at it in a few ways. Is it commercially feasible, first and foremost? Secondly, we won't enter into a state that we simply buy paper. We want to go into state that we get bench strength. every single state has its own complexities. You need to get people who actually know the regulations within the state but are good operators. We're an operational company, we're not a roll-up company. I continuously say that. So I think that will be really the filter that we use to evaluate any market, and it'll come with bench strength, but it'll also not just be a piece of paper allowing us to go into the space, because then tremendous capex is associated with it. We wouldn't want to do that to our investors.
Yeah, sure. So Aphria put out an announcement that they had completed their divestiture of Liberty Health, but they still have an option to back in through a warrant exercise, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's interesting to me because one of the key features of Liberty Health that a lot of people don't realize, I think, is that this is still very much has access to all of the bench strength in the Aphria camp, on the scientific side, on the operational side, on capital, access to capital, and all of that, correct?
That's right. So what it essentially is, we'll retain the IP, the know-how, all the cultivation experience that we've garnered over the last little while. But I think what it does is, although they are somewhat detaching themselves at the current moment, they have the opportunity to be part of it in the future. I think whether it be Aphria or any other large LP in Canada, they know that the US is quite promising when it does open up, and I don't think Aphria wants to exclude themselves. So it really offers a pretty interesting opportunity for us downstream to work again with Aphria. I think it's also time for the little brother to grow on its own and independently. And I think there's going to be a point that you see us together again.
Oh, very cool. Probably USD prohibition or somewhere near there.
That's right.
All right, George, that's a fantastic update. We'll leave it there for you for now and come back to you in a short time and see how you're making out. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back. You're not going to believe it, but Ed's got a very important phone call to make, don't you, Ed?
Yep, very important. It's so important that I got nobody to talk to about it.
Anyways, so there you have it. George Scorsis and Liberty Health Sciences knocking it out of the park down there in Florida. And yeah, what can I say? You're not going to believe who's just walked in, though. Now we're going to have one of our regular favorite guests on the show. Mr. Brad Rogers is here. Brad, come on in, come on in, come on in. Don't stand on ceremony. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
How's that for an entrance, eh?
Oh, just, yeah, it's fun times. I put my glasses somewhere.
Yeah, you can just leave them there.
Yeah, I just got off a plane.
Is that right?
I just did BNN, and now I'm here, and everybody wants to talk
about.
To
do BNN?
I flew in to do Midas, and then BNN asked me to be there. So
very cool.
It's all about Midas.
Yeah, well, of course. Good thing you got your priorities straight there. How was, where were you flying around to?
I was flying in from Chicago, where our newest partner resides. Breakthru Beverage Group, yes.
Now, the significance of that went right over my head until one of our viewers wrote me and said, you realize that Breakthru is Diageo's agent in Canada. And I was like, what?
That's right.
And that's the big holy.
That's one of a portfolio of huge brands that they represent in alcohol. So they also represent Brown-Forman, who is Jack Daniels, and so there's a lot of representation there, and they're a foundation of credibility with respect to what we do now. So we're incredibly excited about what this deal brings for us. It's a level of expertise and detail at the retail level that we would take a little while to get to. They've got systems in place. They've got everything ready to go. So it's a turnkey for us, and they saw us as a strategic partner as well. And so they've also made an investment in us.
Right.
So unlike other distributors that have partnered up, these guys saw an opportunity here in CannTrust, and well, it's not even just money. I think what they want to do is in the United States, there's 3 tiers of alcohol distribution that you can't cross lines on. So you're either a producer, a distributor, or a retailer. And so they're in the middle. They're a distributor, and this is they brought basically alcohol out of prohibition. They've been around that long. Generations and generations. And so they saw this as an opportunity where there are no lines, you can be all things, in the space to be able to actually capitalize and be all things in the space. And so they've got the level of expertise on the distribution side of it, but they also want to experience the other pieces of it, which is producing, manufacturing, branding, and perhaps some of those brand partners that are out there are going to have a look our way now, because and they all have actually, to be frank. But it's just, again, one more vote of confidence for CannTrust, in that one of the biggest alcohol distributor in Canada and second biggest in the United States. And they've got some really interesting things going on to maybe even become the biggest. They've chosen us and they've invested in us, and it's massive for us. We're incredibly happy. There's a first-class organization, by the way. The Wirtz family, top notch.
Interesting. So now, has CannTrust got a development process going in the recreational beverage space at this point, or is this just the first you have?
Oh, look, we are.
Oh, I should have known. I should have known.
Yeah, so we don't press at all. We do. We make sure we have what we have, and we do have what's called a zero taste, 0 calorie input to anything. So
that's
it's a base, soluble, full. Yeah, it stays in solution. Looks like water and tastes like water, but you can build any beverage, any food product, any edible, anything around it. And so it's a turnkey solution for any one of those big alcohol companies to come in and say, look, what do you have? And here it is. We have it. We have it at scale, and it's readily reproducible. Wow. And so that's an incredible advantage for us. Yet again, that's also we can standardize that as well, and we have standardized it. So that's one more turn of the wheel. We're turning products now. We're looking at 2022, 23, 24 in terms of our product pipeline. So all that's in play, and when it's ready to go, we have it.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? I look at the idea of having, for example, a beer that also has a THC component to it, and I'm not interested. I like to have my beer, and if I feel like augmenting my reality with a little cannabis, that's a separate thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not looking for efficiencies in terms of dosing and convenience. I like to go out and twist one up and light it up and smoke just as much as I want to. Come back into the warm bar and rejoin my friends and have a beer,
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering, where is this all going to fall in terms of cannabis beverages? Is this an instead of alcohol idea?
It's an option too. So when you look at what the potential here is that when it becomes legal October 17, the people who don't smoke aren't necessarily going to run into the OCS and say, hey, or any of the other provincial distributors or retail operations and say, hey, I'm going to start smoking today. I think what's going to happen is that an option to what's already socially acceptable in somebody's mind, be that drinking or maybe something more discreet than smoking, such as an edible, that's a viable option as we see it. And so we're creating products around that. We've got our beverages, we've got our inputs for all of our edibles as well, and so that's in place right now. And so when you look at the smoking versus non-smoking versus alcohol, I think it's an option too. And alcohol is what I say is a lock on the mind escape market. That's the only legal mind escape that there is right now recreationally. And so herein lies the opportunity to put a portfolio of product out there and say to somebody, hey, here are 5 mind states we can get you to. We can get you to relaxed all the way to invigorated through a portfolio of beverages that alcohol just can't deliver on. And that's what's in the works right now. It worries me.
One of those and one of those, and mix me a drink.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. And so that's an option. And so what we're also able to do is standardize it. And so it's not going to be hey, I'm never going to do an edible again, because the last time I did an edible, I was knocked out for days. And that's what I hear time and again. So what we're able to do is just say, look, start low, go slow at what might be an equivalent to a beer. And so put it in a 5 milligram content for a beverage. That just gets you to a nice, smooth, easy state. And you know, if you want to go past that, that's another one on top of that.
Right.
And so similar to alcohol, you can dose and titrate yourself into whatever mind state that you feel you want to get into. And again, that's
fun.
that's the beauty of this, and it's
so do you
really
think that
amazing.
there's going to be a case of like where we'll have bars where you can have one or the other? Do you think that's coming?
I think so. I hope so. You know, I mean, it's you know, alcohol is one thing. I couldn't imagine, you know, the cannabis bar and then you have the alcohol bar. I think the differentiation will be there on a choice for a customer in the same venue, I'd hope.
Right.
In an age-restricted environment where everybody has, you know, freedom of choice. Those products, I believe, should be an option within those environments.
Certainly in the Ontario winter, where you do risk your life if you have to go outside for anything at 3 in the morning.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Oh, we don't have to go out. That's amazing. So, so CannTrust is, I mean, still to me, it's like the stock's doubled since the last time we were here. Remember, I tried to buy it at 401 and I didn't get filled. That's right. And then the stock takes off the next day. I never got
$12 today.
Yeah,
so you missed.
Yeah.
You know what? There's still
right.
some big upside, though. I think.
Exactly.
There really is.
The future of CannTrust, though, is just like it always is. Sort of, it just shifts a bit and shifts a bit, and the result is that you've got a broadened horizon. So now with this deal with Breakthru Beverages, you're now perfectly sort of poised, positioned to take advantage and enter into the recreational beverage market, as we'll call it, or the mind market, mind escape market. I like that. I always found it a bit of a mind intensification market.
Yes,
generally,
well, that too.
As an Irish person. What do you mean you think I'm a liar? But so what else is there in the cannabis space? I mean, what else is there? Like,
look, we operate in 3 verticals right now, as we discussed before. We got medical, we've got recreational now coming, we've had pet. And so our pet is a focus, and again, what we've done is standardized our inputs. And so when you look at cannabis, it's an input. It's an input to all of these things. And so you look at CPG, you look at food. You know, I believe it's going to be, you know, CBD is going to be the new probiotic. It's going to be the new omega-3. And so, you know, that's an option for food, and that's an option for the pet industry as well. It's an option for nutraceuticals. It's an option for, you know, a CBD sports recovery drink that we're working on as well.
yeah. Well, interestingly, you know, CBDs in my household have gone from, you know, being mildly amusing to the point where everybody, including the pets, are on it every day, all day long now.
It's a daily routine.
Like, it is so many health benefits.
It sure
it's
does.
like my mother-in-law has got arthritis, swollen hands. She's from Peru. For the first time, she's like, can't believe it. I've got no swelling. I've got no pain. This is the best I've felt in years, thanks to these CBD patches she's doing.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal thing when you experience what the power of this is. It's not one indication. It's a horizon of indications that cover, you know, everything from pain relief all the way to you know, antispastic properties as well. So, you know, the neurospasticity in the epileptic children, Dravet syndrome, malseizures, etc. You know, we get so many letters from that all the way to the pain relief, and we've and just for interest, CannTrust is now in 4 clinical studies.
Right.
So
I saw that you had partnered with McMaster University.
Yeah, and that is you know, a feather in our cap, and hopefully a feather in their cap when they prove efficacy. And so when you look, it's one of the biggest pain studies in Canada. 309 patients, I believe, is the number. And so when you get phase 1, phase 2, double-blind crossover study with an organization such as McMaster, it really validates you. And you know, the healthcare professionals are starting to look at this as a frontline option to the opiates. So when you think of pain relief, it's not just straight to the opiate. It's frontline potentially is now, you know, a standardized dosed vegan capsule from CannTrust, THC option or 1-to-1 option or CBD option.
Fantastic.
So there's a lot of potential there, and we're looking forward to those results of that study.
One of the things we didn't get to talk about yet is your decision to absorb the excise tax for medical cannabis patients. Now, I mean, everybody's in love with CannTrust enough already, as
Yes.
far as I can tell. And now you're going, bending over backwards, literally,
Yes.
financially, for your patients.
We are.
And what is the burden of tax on an average medical patient?
So it's the dollar a gram. It's
a buck a gram.
It's a big number, and
Sure.
so when you look at the potential of somebody putting that out themselves, somebody who may not be able to afford it, or on the verge of saying, okay, can I afford this, or do I get my health care to pay for opiates, which is the last resort for some of these folks who cannabis actually works for, and so we saw that as a good corporate citizen duty to make sure that everyone who is medicinally in need to be taken care of, and so that's just who we are, and that's how we operate. So. We've heard a lot of really good things from the street about that, and from our customers alike, and we're hopeful that it really does make a difference.
Sure. Is this something that all LPs do?
No.
It's not done, is it?
No,
okay.
by no means.
That's what I was going to say.
No.
Why doesn't everybody do this?
Well, it's an economical decision for a lot, and again, we're very, CannTrust, the brand, is very medicinally focused. Corporate CannTrust wants to do its good deed as a corporate citizen, but the brand has a lot of very in-need patients.
Okay.
And so we're very happy to help in supporting the excise tax.
That's great. And so how's everything going with the build-out in Niagara? That thing's all up and running now?
Oh, it changes by the minute. I see pictures of it. I'm flying around and doing my thing, and I get down there every so often, and every time I go down there, there are more and more people, and there's more rooms filled, and it's the processing. It's the industrialization of cannabis in front of your eyes. And when you look at our facility down there, I call it the modern manufacturing plant. It's to a degree walking into a Toyota and or a Ford, for that matter.
Wow.
But the care and diligence and standardization that we have allows us to get to that same result every single time. And so we're getting incredible results. Our Canatonic CBD is at 28%.
Wow.
Our Gold Kush 27% standardized. So it's just the results are just it's outperforming itself.
Wow.
And of course the grams per square foot are increasing over and over and over again. And so I can't say enough about the thing. You have to come
Time for
down
another
again.
visit.
Absolutely.
Maybe October 17th would be a good date to come down there.
That's probably a great date to come down.
All right, Brad, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks again for coming in today.
Thank you for having me again.
Up next, we have Mr. Bruce Linton, who is not going to be talking about Canopy Growth Corp. He's going to be talking about Canopy Rivers, which is going public next week. Here's what Bruce had to say. Welcome back to Midas Letter RAW. My guest this segment is somebody who you think you know, but it's not going to be in the capacity that you think you know it as. Bruce Linton is here in his capacity as co-founder, chairman, acting CEO of the yet-to-go public Canopy Rivers.
Wow, good intro, James. Well done.
Thank you.
Very
I
well
can't
done.
believe I got all that through.
Yeah, no.
So Bruce, Canopy Rivers is essentially a offshoot of Canopy Growth, but it has its own thing. And what is it?
So, how many deals a week do you think we get presented to us that say, we'd like you to participate? We want you to take, we want you to take a chunk. We want you to be helpful. We want your money. We want your expertise, but we don't want to yet be purchased.
Right.
All the time. And so that pattern started probably 3-4 years ago. And over the last couple of years, we worked through what are we going to do about that? And the what to do about it was to set up Rivers so that it can take minority interests, deliver capital and expertise. And depending on the circumstance, there will be some leverage, we put up, whether you're thinking about HVAC or extraction, whatever Canopy does well, we put up a skill set, and in those circumstances, we expect to have a first look, a chance to maybe buy them at a good price. And other ones are maybe just economic investments that make a lot of sense. But in Canopy, I don't want to be in the business in growth directly of trying to make bets on stocks and buying and selling. In Rivers, we want to be in that business. And so what we structured was a bit of a control on it, because we're not just putting cash in, we're putting intellectual skills and expertise.
Sure.
And so what we said is, there'll be like a 20-to-1 voting right in favor of us. We started it. We brought in a first tranche and quickly got through deploying that. And we expect by the end of this week to have our second tranche, which is north of 100 million, released into there. And when you look at it, you say this is a really well-staffed, efficient in terms of overhead burn, picked some great horses already. Bet it goes well.
Okay, so what does the opening portfolio look like right now?
I think we've got about 11 investments, a couple of countries. We've been active looking at a few continents. We started off with Craft Grow because it kind of made sense. Then we got up to Mega Grow, and that's sort of a Leamington operation. We've looked around and gotten, involved in things like Civilized, where we start saying, where's the book of business come from? How do we play in this section? And so, when you put all that together, it starts to look like a portfolio, which is why it made sense to scoop away guys from banking and from OMERS and places like that, so that we're actually running a portfolio strategy to create a global mix of all things that we think are going to show a lot of value and acceleration.
Interesting. So what won't Canopy Rivers do?
Break laws generally. So we're not big fans of criminal operations.
Sure.
We also don't have like overreaching rights to buy criminal operations yet in the U.S. So we're not doing that shuffle. What we're doing is we're going where it's legal, how we can go, and that's probably why a lot of institutional investors who would never normally participate in either a private investment or a cannabis investment were in our last round, because they understand that we're staying between the guardrails, and that if and when it becomes lawful anywhere, of course the best will accelerate the fastest, but there's no sense getting a head start that could leave you offside with a bunch of entities.
Sure. So how many opportunities do come your way every month?
I should count them. This morning I've had 2 pitched to me. And so what I do is I forward them on, to Eddie and Peter and Sean and Daniel and say, guys, and then they sift them.
Right.
And there's a process, right? In this sector, everybody wants to be in, but not everybody wants to do the work. I think it's one of the lines I like to say is I think there are a lot more companies in this sector than there are businesses. We're looking for businesses. We want people who actually want to create value and understand shareholders are not there to be victims.
And so of all of the things that cross the transom, how many of them actually make it to the next look?
I would say everybody gets a first look.
Okay.
So that means we're not signing an NDA, but we do want to hear your pitch and your position. It's pretty quick, right? After you've been at this. So Sean and Peter started inside our shop in a sense. They were our in-house M&A advisors for the last few years, which means we got really good at that pattern recognition of what's this about, where does it fit? And because, Sean, he's kind of been around with the history of the sector. He was one of the first people to invest in this space back in 2013. Peter followed on after that. Daniel's been an analyst for probably 4 or 5 years in the space. So we kind of know the makeup of a lot of the Canadian international pieces. So when it's time to make an investment, you can pretty quickly go from maybe to yes or no.
Sure. Okay, and in terms of the targeted portfolio performance, is it more about realizing a rate of return, or is it more about making investments that pay off while having first look at technologies you might want to acquire for the mothership?
Well, it's kind of great because it's both, right? So we have made a bunch of investments that are about the either equity gain and or the yield off the asset. And those are nice because you can say, look at this thing, it actually doesn't lose money, and it's in the marijuana space, and it's growing rapidly. And then there are going to be pieces which, if we have to lean in as growth and actually put quite a lot of expertise on the table and bring skills and everything from genetics through, those would be ones where we need to have a first look because we can't let our tech or expertise run away from us. But we're not looking for a deal. What we're looking is for certainty. And so the Rivers investors and the entrepreneur all know there's a lot of upside if they execute, and we're happy to push in and see EBITDA grow or whatever the metric is, because at the end of the day, in growth, we want 100% control of what we do. In Rivers, we want a lot of investments that show yield and or upside on total asset equity value. And that kind of works well because one starts at a 10 or 20% participation and the other finishes at 100% control. And so to me, it seemed like your other option would be say, well, do nothing. People almost never get in trouble for doing nothing on an opportunity. I said bye-bye, bye-bye to everything that comes by, and said, that seemed wasteful. So start this up, give it focus, give it capital, and give it discipline. And I think it kind of juggles benefits for everybody.
Sure. I heard it described as Google Ventures for the cannabis space.
Yeah.
And Google Ventures implies a rather large capital access pool. And so is that the same kind of way that we should be thinking about Canopy Rivers? Is this is essentially the investment platform that we will or could be funded by Canopy Rivers or Canopy Growth Corp and or its partners?
Yeah, so I think you'll see us maintain our pro rata position for every raise going forward. That's our current plan. And that as we need more capital, you can imagine that there'd be quite a lot of capital that might be interested in participating in Rivers because you have those dual outcomes. you have some depth of global coverage, and you have a deal flow that is unequaled. So I think that the access to capital won't be a question. What we're really looking at is how do we structure it so it's not too impactful on the shareholders. So you start to look at things like there's probably going to be debt instruments that are available, you know, because we're stepping in first, which means when you're in a Rivers investment, we're at the top of the heap. We're not subordinating down an equity stack. Typically, we want to actually have a strong position. Now, sometimes you might have to, but because we're not just showing up with money. So there's a way that you can start to put packages of sources of capital together that I think make the potential yield for investors in this one better than the dilutive model that we've all had to live through over the last 5 or 6 years.
Sure. All right, Bruce, that's a great introduction. We'll leave it there for now. We'll come back to you after it's been public for a while, if you're still the acting CEO.
Well, I got to have a few part-time jobs, right? Like tomorrow.
Because you don't have enough to do.
Well, tomorrow morning, Martello, remember I was coming here for a long time. For 6 years, I was CEO, over the last 6 years until December, I was CEO of...
Software company.
Yeah, a software company called Martello, which goes public tomorrow morning. We got this one coming up on the 20th. And there's a small meeting on the 26th of September, which is called our AGM, which is in Smiths Falls for growth. And I don't know, I expect somewhere between 500 and 700 people to show up because the visitor center is open and we'd like to be a good host. So September is an active month, and there seems to be some significant events happening in October that we should get ready for as well.
Well, then we'll have to have you back sooner rather than later. Thanks for joining me today.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
Well, how about that? Even Canopy is launching a new public company.
New product.
A brand new piece of the action. Amazing, Ed?
Okay.
So, let's see. Bruce on the loose. So the audience was wondering about CannTrust go listing in the United States. And I didn't get to ask Brad while we were on camera. How I did, however, ask him just a few minutes ago, and Brad wanted me to convey to you, the audience, that they are working through the various options, and there is nothing to be reported on that front at this time, which is a nice way of saying we're working on it. So, tell me, Ed.
Yeah. Well, look.
Gold. Let's talk about gold for a second.
Okay.
Gold has now hit, it's 189 now on YouTube, 189. Gold has hit its 50-year inflation-adjusted low. Yes, it's gone even lower. Gold is down to 189.
Holy smokes.
189 an ounce. Do you remember when gold was last at 189
Yes, I
an ounce?
do.
Really? When was that?
Well, I think it got down to about 220 in the early part of the year 2001, I believe.
No, really?
Yeah.
That's
220.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, we can take a look.
Yeah. So, do you think we should be buying more of these mining stocks? That's
Well,
what I want to know.
you know, I got to be honest with you. You know what? When I was younger, I used to always try and pick the bottom. But you know,
Yeah.
as I get older, a wise man once said, "Wait till the knife falls onto the ground and then pick it up. Don't try to catch it." And I just think right now we're trying to catch a falling knife, although it looks as though we may be right there. I think we could be getting close.
So it's time to, I mean, what better time to buy gold juniors? Though it's funny to be talking about that in an era when the cannabis market is on fire.
Yeah, Acapulco Gold.
Acapulco Gold. Have you ever smoked Acapulco Gold?
I just had some.
Really? Just now? I thought you were on the wagon.
Yeah, I'm on the wagon, all right.
What wagon's that?
Yeah, wagon trade.
Oh my gosh, you just got run over by the wagon.
I'm looking at a lot of conflicting things here.
Yeah.
Look at this, XRO off a penny.
Oh, people are telling us that we have to go look at what happened with ACB in the last 30 minutes of trading. So,
okay,
in an effort to accommodate people.
Let's do it. AC. So I'm going to guess it flew up or it flew down.
Let's look at the intraday action here.
Look at this.
Last 30 minutes. Well,
Wow.
look at that. It took
Wow.
off. That's
Wow.
what it did.
Yeah, up 83 cents.
With sidewinding and
Up a good almost 10%.
And now it's closed at closed at 909.
What's a sidewinder?
Sidewinder is a missile. Sidewinder is a rattlesnake.
Yeah. It moves sideways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, they're like this. They're going like this, but they're moving sideways across the sand. Now you got it. That's what a Sidewinder does.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
a Sidewinder missile shoots off of the side of an F-18 fighter, I guess, and takes the enemy plane out of the air just like that. But they're kind of, I don't know, not as popular as they used to be since the drones have been sort of stealing their thunder just a bit.
Canopy Growth was down $1.70 today.
Canopy Growth
was
down $1.70. Well, I wonder if, that's
we're starting to. I don't know.
It's a little consolidation. Look at all these things trade volatile in the morning. Everybody does their shopping in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they go out for the rest of the day, and that's it. That's basically sets the pace for the day. Everything tends to mellow out throughout the day. Interesting that. In these large caps, we tend to see a lot of the stock settling out into the mean of the day.
Not the meat of the day.
The mean.
The meaning.
Like, So Ed, our friends are trying to get us out to go for a drink now.
Yeah, I know, but
You haven't said yes yet.
I'm
On the wagon.
I'm on the wagon.
Huh, how is that?
How's that possible?
How does that feel?
That I'm on the wagon?
Yeah. All right, let's see what else is going. Let's see how everything closed in our cannabis universe here. In the large caps, what happened? What happened in the, whoops, I didn't want the full screen. Let's go to this full index page. What happened in this large caps? Well,
Wow, look at
Canopy
this.
lost 2.26%, closed down $1.55 to $67. Kronos Group lost 22 cents, closed down at $15.70. And Afria lost a grand smashing whopping total of 7 cents, 0.32% to close at $21.63.
on the flip side, Aurora was one of the best performers here.
Handed in one of the
Oxley,
day's best performers.
Flying.
Oxley, $1.34, up 18 cents, 15.52%. So many of these stocks, you could make serious dough just buy it in the morning and sell it in the afternoon, eh?
Buy low,
You
sell
can make
high.
15% in a day on a heavily traded stock like Oxley. If you did that 5 days a week, where would you be? Not concerned about the gold price, would you be?
No, no. Trouble is, it looks a lot easier than it is, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how you end up? No, I think you must be right there. Let's see how the small caps did today. We'll go to the index page, and who are the big winners in the small cap space? Well, the big loser was Benchmark Botanics, down 8 cents, 13%.
Benchmark.
Look at FSD Pharma, closed the day at 69 cents. That's not really a great...
Down 5?
down a nickel. InMed Pharmaceuticals down 7 cents.
Was that tape delayed?
No, this is the 15 minutes delayed, yes.
Well, that's delayed then.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, it's delayed. Okay.
Let's see what happened.
I bet you the guys at the management of Sodiolio.
Isodial. Look at the high trader, the biggest gainer on the CSE today, Juju, 19 cents.
Yeah, we had the president on the show here a week ago.
I know. I bought it yesterday at 12 cents. I sold it today at 18 cents.
Let's see, 6 cents on 12 is 50%. So you made 50% in a day.
Yeah,
That's growth.
that's not bad.
You should get teach a course on how to
Stock picking,
on
how to buy low, sell high.
how to achieve growth.
Problem is, that would only be a useful course maybe 5 times a year. The rest of the time, I'm too busy buying high.
Maybe
and
it's
selling low.
already not useful because maybe it's never going to happen again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Look at this KBEV. We saw that moving up recently, and now it's back on the page.
Now it's back on the page.
Look at this, up only 35%.
Boy, see big moves on the CSE. CSE is where the big moves happen.
CNX.
CSE.
Why don't you call it what? I'm confused with all these different.
Well, that's because it started life as the CNQ, then it was the CNSX, then it was the CDNX, and then it became the CSE, just to maximize your confusion. So technically it is now known as the Canadian Securities Exchange, though if you were to look it up on Google Finance, you'd have to put in CNSX because it preserves that old protocol. If you look at it on QuoteStream, it's CNX. So yeah, it's designed to confuse, The CSE is only for the extremely sophisticated investor. because you have to be sophisticated just to find the damn thing.
T-God had a nice day, up 58 cents.
Did it?
Look at this. Look at some of those moves today, and some of those smaller.
Let's put
just remember
up so
that
our audience can see what we're talking about, shall we? Look at that. Up 8%, 57 cents on the day to 7.69. Yes, we did look at Friday night. Friday night was up.
What did I want to see if Tilray got to a new high here on the close.
Okay. TLRY, Tilray. Where'd it go? 96 bucks, Eddie.
That's it? Couldn't get any higher than that?
Well, touched a high of 97.88.
95.79. Look at that. Did you see what that did in the last?
That's a nice, healthy day.
Smokes.
Bless you. We have sneezing going on in the studio here.
Sneezing?
So quiet you could hear a man sneeze. What's happening with T-God to keep this price appreciation going? Well, that's Aurora. Never mind. Well, Aurora is making acquisitions still. Apparently, the reason though can't be here tomorrow is because he's been called away on a potential situation, which you will hear about first here after they press release it, of course. That's interesting that they turned the CTT Pharma transaction into a equity stake.
Looks like they got a product there called the wafer.
The wafer. No smoke inhalation, less degradation of medication by bypassing the stomach. Most importantly, lower dosage units are required given the efficacy of absorption. You know, this is the interesting thing is that in this new era of cannabis and valuation craze is that, do you realize that the world is now almost uniformly focused on getting higher faster, more efficiently, and for more cheaply than ever before?
Would you say that everybody sort of wants to get high?
Everybody must get stoned. And the stone you when you want to play
Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
Bobby Dylan.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Old Bobby D. Yeah, so what else, Ed? What else we got here?
Well,
What other intel? What other events in the cannabis space?
yeah, that stock, that RNX, let's take a look at that one.
That's a nickel company. Let's look at that just to appease our...
Well, that's because they found a boulder.
Over-the-shoulder boulder holder. Okay, so it started the day at 22 cents, got up to 22 and a half, closed at 21.
Got to 32.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! I've got my cursor in the wrong place. Sorry.
If you have your cursor in the wrong place, you might end up cursing.
Closed at 28 cents, up 10 cents on the day, 54 million shares traded.
Is that all?
Geez, remember the days if stock traded 54 million shares, it would go up like 15x? Now everything's got a baffed out shell structure because they've got to limp along and do financings for low numbers. You know what I wanted to do, Ed, because we've been having good luck with this lately, is I wanted to look at the market movers in each of the sectors. So here's another one of these. Here's a cannabis stock, Relentless Resources. Was a mining company. Now it's being taken over by a cannabis deal, up 7 cents or 53.8% on the day on 40 million shares.
We're Relentless, oh yeah, RRL.
That's the high trader of the day on the TSX Venture, closely followed by Namaste, which added another 35 cents, up another 11% on 16 million shares to close at 355.
What was the value? How many shares did Namaste trade?
16.6 million.
Wow.
Yep.
Oxley, look at Oxley. Are you sure 16 or 160?
Oxley? 16. Or no, Namaste was 16. Let's look at the CSE now. FSD Pharma was the big number trader on the CSE, 143 million shares traded. Now that's just incredible. 67 cents, traded as high as 88 today. Nobody knows why.
Right.
International Canna Brands, this is our Dear Juju, last at 19.5. Man, I think I'm going to buy that again tomorrow. TGIF, 55 cents, up 13 cents. Boy, 37%. Ascent Industries. Boy, that's a good name. Ascent Industries closed up 37%.
Can you buy that industry for a cent?
No, not anymore. 57 cents now. All right, that's the CSC. Now look at the TSX.
Charlotte Web was up. Holy smokes.
Ooh, what? Charlotte's Web. Where'd you see that?
Down here, right there.
Hold on. On the CSE. Charlotte's Web.
Great, keep going, stop.
Title, Royalty, Prevceutical, Golden Leaf, Valens, American. I don't see,
Charlotte's Web Holdings, right there.
where?
You get the cursor on it.
Charlotte's Web Holdings, don't see it.
What's this say? Read this, just read this.
Oh, way down there. Oh, I see. It's different, cursor's in a different position on the screen than it is on my screen.
Yeah.
Charlotte's Web Holdings, full disclosure, I own it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. 16 bucks. Woo, up another 75 cents. I'm going down there to shoot Charlotte's Web in a couple of weeks. And Adam Stanley, or one of the Stanley brothers, Josh Stanley, is going to be here to talk about their company. Are you familiar with the story behind Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, that's a severely...
Charlotte Figge was a young lady who had chronic juvenile epilepsy.
You're terrible.
99% cured now since the Stanley brothers formulated for her a concentrated CBD tincture that she started taking daily and is now virtually seizure-free.
It's mind-boggling.
Isn't it? And on that, they built this industry, which is now worth... No, well, let's see what this company's worth on a market cap basis. But it's a great story, and we will be following them closely. Charlotte's Web.
That's on what exchange?
CSE.
Is that what I put in?
You put in CWeb. So yeah, it's just been since it went public.
Charlotte's Web is not a valid symbol. Yeah.
So CWeb : CNX.
But so why would I put CSE then?
Don't know. Let's see. Shares out 15.18 million. Total market cap 240 million bucks. It'll be interesting to see what their numbers look like when they publish them.
Right.
But yeah, they haven't had a lot of coverage yet, so it's early days for Charlotte's Web, but believe me, one of the better stories coming out of the U.S. One of the oldest stories in the U.S. Anyways, Ed, so what else we got today? Charlotte's Web, Tilray, let's see. We have Supreme. We have John Fowler from Supreme is going to be here on Friday in the morning. Be interesting to see how that company's doing. Symbol, AGG. Oh, let's see how the CSE company is doing. Title Royalty Corp lost 12% today, down 4 cents to 28 cents. That's an interesting one. Benchmark Botanics, STEM Holdings. A lot of, boy oh boy, but look at Juju, up 40, now it's saying last at 20, what the hell? Sold too soon, story of my life. TGIF, you think that Juju could open lower tomorrow, Ed? Let's take a look at the technicals on that. What do you think, Ed? That's a great idea, Jim. Okay, here we go. Here, I'll just be...
Did it just... Jeepers creepers.
Let's go to advanced charts. All right. Juju.a:.
Yeah, I don't know if that's only 19 million shares.
See, look at this thing.
Which one?
Juju.
Yeah.
It's trading way outside the Bollinger Band by like RSI is at
Yeah.
80.53.
Yeah.
So that's due for a correction.
Yeah, well, the problem is, you know, it may jump in the morning, and then you might think, well, geez, I'm going to miss it because you're not looking at logic. You might buy it at 22, and then by the end of the day, you could have bought it at 16. You know what I mean? That's the problem, right?
That would be the normal pattern. Buying high, selling low. This is what I'm setting out to avoid now, Ed, with our new show. We're going to buy low and sell high. Oh. And our viewing audience is going to be able to do the same if they'd like.
If they choose.
If they choose to do so.
Do you think if you could sort of do it for fun and no money ever traded hands, that you'd be a better trader?
No. Without skin in the game.
No skin in the game? There's a book out called
There's
No
no
Skin in the Game.
pain with no blood. No blood, no pain. No pain, no gain. That's just the way it is. This is the unfortunate reality of the life we live in, Eddie. If you're not suffering, you're not living.
Really?
That's the way it is.
Look at this thing. Well,
So what does this tell you?
I sold some of
Technically,
my
what is
stock
this?
today, but at 17 and a half.
I sold 350,000 shares today. I bought it yesterday.
You had to have
buy
more
it again
than me,
tomorrow.
didn't you? You had to have more than me.
No, nothing like that. I would have bought it till the cows came home. I would have bought it till I was out of money, but I couldn't get filled without chasing it. I drew a line in the sand at 12.5 cents, actually. So that's, as I recall, was the biggest number I paid. But neither here nor there. 15.65 million traded today.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Been to 70 cents in the past, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I wonder how their meetings are going.
Whose meetings? Juju's?
Juju.
They're having meetings down in... Oh, well, you know who's going to be here on Monday? Steve Gormley from Juju. He's going to
We've had him on the show before.
Just 2 weeks ago. We're going to have him on the show again on Monday because
I think
when we talked to him 2 weeks
wasn't
ago,
it at
his
8
stock
cents?
was 8 cents. Exactly. Now it's at 20 cents. So maybe if we talk to him again, it'll go to 40.
And if he talks backwards, do you think the stock will drop?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's try to stop that from happening. That's just an experiment we don't
You're
want.
out.
Well, no, I'm out tonight. What about tomorrow's another day?
You feel you wish you had some right now, the way it's acting?
No. You know,
I feel a little naked?
No. I'm kind of, there are aspects to the day trader mindset that appeal to me. Like, by the end of the day, you're at zero risk. You start the day, you go into the day,
right.
You take all your chances in the morning, and by the end of the day, you know where you stand and you're out. Unless you're not really a day trader, in which case you might fall prey to some emotional impetus to stay in, and then the whole model falls apart. Value
I bet you there's I'm just looking at Sokoman going by here. I don't see it going much below this 15.5 cents.
Well, you know, they put out an announcement that they were seeing warrants exercised at 5 and 7 cents. So if I was a betting man, I'd look at that and I'd be like, well, it could go to 5 or 7 cents because that's what paper out there is, being paid for.
Right.
So why couldn't it? So I think it could go lower before it goes higher.
Yeah. You ever heard of a guy by the name of John Putters?
No.
No, he wants to come on the show.
Oh yeah? What does he do?
He has a company. I'll just read you the name of the company. It's let's see here. It's so hard to keep track of everything.
Well, that's why you got a phone, Ed. A little personal electronic device there.
Vision State is the name of his company.
Okay, what do they do?
VIS is the ticker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a internet application to monitor what goes on in public washrooms and things like that.
What? Pretty sure that's illegal, Ed. They call that voyeurism.
Is that like a secret hidden camera?
Well, that's by what you're talking about. So this guy has a public company that
apparently,
practices
they've in Europe, I guess it's a big thing where you have.
Oh yeah, the Europeans are kinky as hell. Everybody knows that about the Europeans. But my question is, how do you want to bring this guy onto the show? European, exactly. Watching. And to CUP, we're going to bring this guy on the show. And he's going to tell us about
it's not a camera as such. It's more of a like a tablet.
tablet.
Yeah.
So you get a full frontal, wide angle view. Ed, this is really undermining our G-rated status today. You know.
How many people we got on YouTube?
Well, we had 194 was the highest number I saw today.
Really, that's that's a nice number.
Yeah, we've had as high as 260 people watching live.
Really?
250, yeah.
When?
One day. It was one day back in the summer.
When I
Anyways, you know what time it is,
my
Ed?
debut?
You know who's going to be here tomorrow? Let's cut to the chase, Ed. Enough of this tomfoolery. It's time to go home. You know what that means, Ed? It's time to drag your sorry ass off of the wagon into a bar, get a bottle in front of you before you get a bottle cracked over your head. Anyways, tomorrow we have at
180!
Scott White from Backstage Play is going to be here. Backstage Play is the company that makes those gamifies musicians and other artists as a way to increase engagement with their fans and monetize the audience. Then we also, Cam Batley is not going to be here tomorrow. We bumped him till Friday.
Okay, good.
And then we have Follow the Money is going to do their thing tomorrow from 1 until 2:50. So the Follow the Money guys are going to be here.
What are they in once a week?
They're in once a week right now. They're going to go to 5 days per week if they think they can handle it.
Really?
Yeah, we do 5 days per week.
Well, we didn't last week because you had your face frozen.
Well, that's right. Face is frozen like a pig's. Never mind. That was yesterday.
Here comes Golden Ridge across the.
Let's not talk about Golden Ridge. Oh, look, it's down another penny. See? You shouldn't talk about stocks like that.
No.
Anyways, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a whole roster of great guests and a whole bunch of new cannabis intelligence. Tune in.